You're listening to Careers and Cocktails, career talk with a twist, hosted by expert recruiter Renee Frey. Let's get this party started.
Hey party people, welcome to Careers and Cocktails. Today I have my dear friend Erin Mason joining, and I am so thrilled to have her here. We could actually talk for hours, and this could be an 8-hour, 24-hour episode, but we won't do that today. Let me share a little bit about why she's so fantastic. So she was raised on a family farm in Nebraska, and she packed her bags at age 19 to pursue a career in design at the University of Minnesota. Eager to enter the workforce, Erin started her first gig 3 days after college graduation. That's ambition. 6 months later, she became a manager, and she spent the next 14 years overseeing relationships with small to Fortune 500 companies. In 2013, all the stars aligned, and she became the solo owner of Mason Jar, a project-based marketing firm for healthcare organizations. Today, you'll find Erin concepting with colleagues to add value to every project through integrity and excellence and chipping away at her lofty goals. Her next goal is to buy a building in downtown Hudson, which I love, and I'll be the first renter. I'm also fortunate enough to be in a Forward Mastermind group with Erin. Both as small business owners, we support and mentor each other on everything under the sun related to running our businesses, to parenting our children, etc. And I'm so grateful to have you in my corner, Erin. So thank you so much for joining me.
It is an honor. Thank you, Renee.
Oh,
happy to be here.
Awesome. We are drinking. We're going to let Erin describe it. So Erin is an avid beer drinker, and we have these fun cans. They're like cartoon characters. It looks like a peanut butter sandwich with a caption saying, where are you taking me? So it's very elaborate. What are we drinking today, Erin?
So my husband and I, along with another couple, did a little shopping around for microbreweries in the area and happened upon Oliphant Brewing. And they have wild tasting beers and graphics to go with it. And so this Honies, love it because I can get it there. And then I can also get it at local eateries around the area. Because I prefer it on tap versus in the can.
Right.
But, and then the flavor, what they say, it's peanut butter and honey golden ale.
Well, let's crack these babies open. We have the can version. Cheers. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, you can taste a little peanut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like honey and peanut.
Yeah.
I love it. So, what's your favorite cocktail?
My favorite cocktail would be a mojito.
A mojito. Mm-hmm. But what's your favorite beer, since I know you're an avid beer drinker?
I really like this Honies. I also like very fitting Farm Girl by Liftbridge. It's a Hefeweizen. I toured Europe when I was younger and really kind of grabbed on to Hefeweizens in Germany. So I kind of have it. Yeah.
I love German.
Good Reminds German me of being young, I guess.
So how did we meet?
So back in beginning of 2016, you and I both had the same business coach.
Yeah.
And she had set up a mastermind, or it was more like a book club. And that first day, we're all seated around in her living room and going around making introductions. And you talked about yourself, and I'm like, oh my God, she lives where I live. I gotta know her. And two, I was at a point where I was like, okay, I want more for my business, and I need to meet people that are like-minded and in close proximity, right?
Absolutely.
Because time you can't get back.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, that just kind of precipitated. And then we eventually met at Pier 500 for lunch. And I was thinking, I mean, I wanted to get to know, and be like-minded. And I figured, okay, let's do an investment club or something.
Yeah, I remember that. I totally
we
remember
haven't gone back to that.
No, we haven't.
But you're like, well, how about a mastermind? And so I'm like, well, sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's awesome.
The rest is history.
We meet weekly with other business owners, and we talk about wins, challenges, and then goals for the following week. And it's been tremendous to be a part of that group. So we're going to go on a party bus, Erin. And who would you can invite anyone you want. Who would be on your party bus?
Right. I'm going to go with Bruno Mars. We talked about this a little bit.
I put him in my pocket. He's so cute.
Off screen. He's got a great vibe. I love his songs. I think
he would compliment us all night, and we would be like glowing. And he's got great music. Well, I'm going to throw a total opposite in, and we're going to bring Snoop Dogg with.
Okay.
Because he is chill. And he makes...
I'll be at the other side of the bus.
Between the two of them, though, they would be like polar opposites.
Yes,
it would be quite the combo. I wonder if they've ever met each other.
Maybe he could sing a lullaby.
He would rap it. All right, Erin, pretend I'm a kindergartner. Okay. And explain to me what you do for a living.
All right. To put it simply, I draw pictures that help tell stories for business owners.
Awesome. I love it. And what did you want to be when you grew up?
So, as far back as I can remember, 3rd grade, it was the First Lady President.
Oh, you still can do that.
Yep, still could do that. Then in high school, I wanted to work for Mattel, and specifically the Barbie brand.
Ooh, toys, dolls.
So
awesome. I love it. And what can we help you celebrate this week? What are we celebrating?
I thought of a lot of personal things, and then I'm like, okay, those are all like either they're family members, right? And I'm like, okay, what about, it says you, me. What can I celebrate for me? And what did I, gosh. See, I have a hard time thinking of myself. You know that. You're laughing.
New client, new venture.
Yeah, I mean, we're just in both my colleague and I are just in a really good spot. Projects are running really seamlessly. We're embracing one another's strengths, and we're just able to conquer more. So awesome. That's a lot of fun.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Do you have any horrifying experiences that you can recall related to interviewing or quitting a job?
Right. So good question. Since I've more or less been running a business, so it would be like potential new clients, right? And those, a lot of times it's over coffee or it's lunch. So leaving a meeting and realizing when I get in the car, I've got a big thing of green in my tea. Or from salad or something, food in my tea.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so most people aren't going to tell you.
No.
Like I would.
No.
Or I expect you to tell me.
Most people don't.
Right. Well, tell me of your journey of starting Mason Jar.
So I decided to start Mason Jar. The idea came back in 2008. At the time, I was managing a company called Fifth Street Design. The stars aligned in 2013, where all 3 of my kids were now outside of the house going to school, and activities pick up, things got a lot busier, and I was ready to give up that commute into the cities.
Sure.
So I decided, I talked to the owner and said, hey, I want to move the business home and I want to be the owner. And he said, sure, go for it.
That's too easy.
To keep the story short. So there was no disruption in service for clients. The biggest thing now that I've done is just worked on my mindset and overcoming all the obstacles that I throw in front of I put in place. Yeah.
As I always say, you got to get out of your own way.
Yes.
And how do you go about finding talent for your team? Like, what do you look for in prospective candidates?
Yeah. So like to do word of mouth, because right now there's 2 of us. So we don't have a lot of bandwidth to, put a post up and then, we get inundated with 50 applicants.
Sure.
And I want to be respectful of those people's time. And so right now it's word of mouth. And then as far as what we're looking for, and that's a lot of why it's word of mouth, because I really want it to be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
I want the person that comes on to have strengths in the areas that we have gaps.
Sure.
So that they shine. I don't micromanage. I mean, they're happy to come to work. It's not a job. I mean, everything just continues to flow really neatly and nicely. Everybody feels appreciated. Yeah.
And you have to hire people who can fill the gaps, because you don't need 5 Erins sitting on your team at all.
No.
Yeah. So how has social media affected your business?
So up until about 6 months ago, we were pretty good about posting. And then at that time, we decided we're going to get a little bit more focused with our business and our message that we put out. So we kind of stepped away from social media because we wanted to make sure that we, whatever we put that out there, that we were intentional with it.
Sure.
So haven't been really active. And I mean, I look at it, I'm certainly on LinkedIn watching news, trends, but I'm not active because it's not a really comfortable spot for me.
That's funny, because do you know why we do video with our podcast? Because Miss Erin Mason told me in the next few years, everything is moving to video. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's there, but for me, like the earlier, I had a hard time responding me. So that's, it's a mindset.
Sure. So how do you gain the trust of new clients?
I typically like to start with one project. Let's understand how you like to communicate. There's certainly multiple check-ins throughout the process. I want to make sure that they feel heard, but that we stick to their objectives. Why are you doing this? Find the best way to, if we kind of, our ideas aren't necessarily aligning, that we have the ability to talk back and forth or talk through that.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you get through one project and you're like, it isn't necessarily a good fit.
Sure.
And two, a lot of times it becomes really evident if we can add value to that client or not. In the cases where we can't, again, then it's not a good fit.
Got it. And how do you determine, what's the sense when you know it's not a good fit? What are the triggers that surface?
There's
just
a
out
lot.
of curiosity.
There's quite a few. I would say they don't have any idea as far as budget goes.
Oh, that's a huge problem.
And they're not willing to talk through it. I mean, I guess when you can't have that really not necessarily relaxed, but
transparent.
Yeah, transparent, and just a really easy dialogue about, okay, are you prepared? Here's what I'm thinking this type of project would involve as far as investment.
Got it.
Are you, how does that sound? And I mean, it just is kind of a working back and forth. And then two, if they respect what I do,
mm-hmm.
I certainly am going to respect what they do. And how that comes across, it's in what they say. I like the work that you've presented. I'm going to trust that you're going to do a great job. So it's things that they say.
Got it. And always following your intuition, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So tell me about, you have I don't know how many week, 13 week?
Oh, the 2 week?
2 week refresh. Yeah. Tell us about this 2 week refresh, because to me, it's revolutionizing marketing.
Right. So the 2 week refresh, set that up because, as we both know as business owners, our time is very limited. So, and then two, from our standpoint, a lot of times a client would engage with us and they get distracted. I mean, the owners are pulled in many different directions. And so it was to kind of tackle that limited time, limited design. I mean, they may be doing the design themselves or a lot of times that's what it is, or they have somebody internally doing it, but they're also in charge of operations. So it's not in their sweet spot. Right. And then investment. I mean, they're kind of doing it here and there. And so that 2-week refresh, we allocate X amount of time. We just time block it. So they are our only client, that we focus on. And we're able to a lot of times refresh their logo. They've wanted to have a brochure for the longest time. Okay, well, now they have a brochure. Their website isn't responsive. So now they have a responsive website. Just really set them up for success so that after 2 weeks, they have everything and they're ready to go versus it's 6 months later. And they're like, and we're like, gosh, we really could have got this done a lot quicker if you could have dedicated 11. We usually require a minimum of 11 hours of their time uninterrupted in those 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Because they need to be able to make decisions and move forward.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what's the greatest marketing tip you have for business owners?
Ooh, greatest marketing tip. There's a lot of them.
Well, start talking.
Right. Well, I would say when your effort is rewarded, but you certainly need to be focused or have a focus on, what kind of message are you putting out there? Because when you put that message out there, and if it's consistent, and multiple channels, and by channels, I'm talking about, you may use a Facebook page or LinkedIn, but then you also may send a brochure, or you may call, or you may send an email out. Like you're using multiple ways to connect with them.
Sure.
There's this vortex, and any message you're sending out, you're going to collect that, but then you're also going to have other opportunities kind of get sucked into that vortex and brought to you.
Awesome.
So making an investment, it will come back. I mean, it is worthwhile.
Sure. But being focused on what you're targeting.
Be focused.
Yeah. Marketing for me. So I can do business development, no problem. The true nuts and bolts of marketing is my total weakness. And so that's one area I've had to.
I think you're too hard on yourself.
Oh, well, I've had to fill the gaps in that regard. What has your favorite project been that you've worked on, and why?
Yeah. So I was thinking about that. And I love the 2-week refreshes because, like I said, as a business owner, it feels really good to see somebody walk away and be ready to either promote their product, their service, an event, just like that.
It only took 2 weeks. That's awesome.
So I love that. Otherwise, because I'm creative, I like lots of stuff. So, or lots of projects. So really a project where I add value. I love those kind of projects. And that's really the only kind of work I want to do is where I can add value. Because again, as a business owner, I can see when I'm not adding value, or if I'm working with somebody when they're not adding value.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, maybe this wasn't a good fit.
Got it.
And so hopefully I can have that conversation with them and be like, I think you should have done this internally. Or...
Which would be a hard pill to swallow if you were on the other end of that conversation.
Right. They're not going to want to hear that. But I guess at least being transparent, like you said earlier, that, hey, you know what? Somebody else,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love transparency and honesty.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. We're sitting down with your 20-year-old self. What would you say to that young lady?
Okay. So I would want to be 17.
Oh, your 17-year-old self.
I'm 17.
17.
And my 17-year-old self I'm telling my 17-year-old self, you wanted to go to Cornell University, talk your mom and dad into driving you out there. It's in New York State. Go tour the campus and go to New York City while you're at it.
Yes. I love New York.
I know. And I didn't know what New York was until 40. So I would do that. And then I would also say, take more business classes.
Take more business classes.
Yeah.
It is a great foundation, right? Mm-hmm. Especially now that we're business owners.
Right.
I don't think I took a business class, actually. I've never taken an economics course either. I was hardcore math and science. And then sociology.
Right.
So I had no economics, no poli-sci.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, I thought I outsmarted the system. I had to take one. And we could take it from any college. So I took it from the easiest college.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then what, you transferred it?
No, I did. Well, it applied. So
That's
that was my
awesome.
credit. I was like, this is easy.
You're so smart. I love it.
Well-
What's the best advice you've ever gotten, Erin?
So I've gotten lots of good advice. But one that really resonates with me right now is the more you say no to bad fits, the more you say yes to you. Or every time you say no, you say yes to you.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, I was just having a conversation with another business owner last night, and she had said this was her year of yes, and she was saying yes to things she had never done before.
Oh.
And I said, this is my year of no, because I don't want to just be busy.
Right. Exactly.
I thought it was funny.
Well, and my son happened to catch him, this is a couple weeks ago, and he was a little bothered, and I'm like, okay, what are you watching on YouTube? And he turns it around and shows me, and it's all about time and how you can't buy it.
No.
You can't get it back.
No.
And he just was like really kind of caught up in all
The
of that.
reality of
Yeah.
it?
And
Yeah.
so that was just kind of another like cherry on the top where I'm like, I have to say no.
Absolutely.
The things that aren't
Well,
working.
cheers to saying no.
Cheers to no.
Sister. All right, Erin, how can we find you? How can our listeners find you?
So the easiest way, masonjarmarketing.com. And then I'm on LinkedIn, Erin K. Mason, I believe is what it is my, the linkedin.com // Erin K. Mason. Where else? Yeah, that covers it.
Awesome. Well, I'm so grateful for you sharing all of your wisdom with us today. And if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss an update. For all of you hiring leaders, go to careersandcocktails.com to download your free hiring guide. And for all of you job seekers out there, you can go to the same website to find out where to purchase my book, I Hate Mondays, so you can eventually love yours. Cheers.